Hi everybody, John here from All Miniatures Great and Small, and today we're going to be unboxing and taking a look at the M10 Tank Destroyer Platoon for Flames of War. This is another release in the Fighting First series, the Americans in Mid-War, and this adds the M10 Tank Destroyers, because if you have the book or looked at my review, you know that Tank Destroyer Platoons can support practically anybody, or you can actually take a dedicated tank destroyer company, which is kind of exciting in mid-war. So on the cover, the first thing you notice is you get 4 of them. And these guys, unlike I think every other release in the Fighting First series, have white stars instead of yellow stars. Now I'm not sure why they did that. I'm not sure if that's historical, like the M10s never had yellow stars, or if the guys at Battlefront just used the late war M10s and didn't bother building another set with yellow stars. I'm not sure. But there you go. So the cover, we have the M10s there on the back. Nothing shocking here. We have the exploded diagram, how to build it, and then contents here on the left. We get 4 plastic M10s, 4 tank commander sprue, 1 decal sheet, 1 unit card. Alright, let's open this up and see what we get. Now this box, since these are all plastic, it's not a bad price. And these come in, I believe it's $36 retail for 4 tanks, which is pretty good considering that they are new plastics. Now I know that these M10s I think have been out a while as far as in other box sets for late war. I think it's the same sprue. Alright, so in the box you've got the cards and the decals. We'll take a look at that in a moment. And then we have the sprues, and we have this broken up into 8 sprues, so it's 2 sprues per tank. Take a look at one set. I'll zoom in for you guys. Alright, so this is the same M10 sprue for late war. We can immediately see that we have, I think that's the M36 Jackson turret, if I'm not mistaken. I love Battlefront's plastic kits. They started out really shaky with that original open fire box. I don't know if you remembered it, with the really atrocious Shermans. But they really have improved 1000%, and the detail's really good. I love the single piece tracks. Then the other sprue, we have the top of the hull. We have different gun barrels. 3 different gun barrels. Pretty cool. So the model itself looks pretty good. I haven't built plastic M10s yet. I still have resin ones, but I'm looking forward to knocking these together. Alright, next up, let's take a look at our pamphlet here. In the Ziploc bag, we have 1 Ziploc bag for white stars and a unit card. What's interesting is, unlike the Lee release and the Stuart release, where we had the HQ and all that stuff. Well, I guess that makes sense. The HQ is a Stuart for the M10 company. So all you have are these M10 platoons. So here we have the M10 3-inch Tank Destroyer Platoon. They are aggressive, so they're hit on 3s. Front armor 5, which is interesting. In a previous version, the M10 had a front armor 4, so their armor went up. Side armor 2, top armor 0. So side armor 5 is really interesting. We'll talk about that a little bit here, but let's look at the motivation skill. Motivation's 4+. Skill is 4+. So unlike most of the other American tanks, which are green with a 5+ skill, these guys have a 4+ skill, which is really important if you want to try to take advantage of movement orders. Since these guys have the Seek, Strike, and Destroy special rule, being able to pull off those movement orders easier is very important. Speed-wise, nothing earth-shattering here. Tactical of 10, terrain dash of 14, get it on the road, and it's going to be driving 20 inches. Weapons. So this M10 is rocking a 3-inch gun, which has a range of 36, rate of fire 2, halted 1, moving, anti-tank 12, 3+ firepower with the no HE special rule. So this is well and truly your tank destroyer. Germans have to be terrified of this. If you've looked at our Desert Rats and Africa Corps reviews from the original release of version 4, you'll notice that the Tiger tank initially was almost untouchable. You really needed, I think, 17-pounder anti-tank guns. But now the Americans come with a way to punch through that armor. Now, a Tiger has a front armor of 9. This has an anti-tank rating of 12. It's possible to punch a Tiger through the front. So a Tiger can't act with impunity if there are M10s on the field. And that's really important, because a Tiger could move freely in front of a Lee or a Sherman or any American or British tank without fear. But now with anti-tank rating of 12, that's big. So that affects Tigers, or how Tigers will be played when you have M10s in your list. The M10 also has a 50 cal machine gun, giving it some self-defense AA, which, just like any other American tank, is kind of to be expected. And on the back we have the cost. So in the platoon you can take 2, 3, or 4. Each one of these is 8 points. And then we have the special rules over here. No HE, obviously it's harder to hit infantry and gun teams, but that makes sense. You are a tank destroyer, you should be shooting at tanks. Seek, Strike, and Destroy special rule. You can attempt to shoot and scoot after successfully or after succeeding in a blitz move. And then the self-defense AA for the. So let's talk a little bit about Seek, Strike, and Destroy. This replaced the old version, which was a little OP for version 3, where they just kind of materialized out of nowhere to fire. So these guys, if you successfully blitz, so that means before you shoot, you can try to blitz 4 inches and you still count as not having moved. If you succeed on that, which will succeed on a 4+ because of your skill, if you succeed at that, you can then attempt to shoot and scoot after you shoot, which would also succeed on a 4+. So the idea is you're in cover, or you're hiding in woods or behind a hedge. You blitz forward 4 inches, fire at your full rate of fire, and then scoot and shoot back 4 inches so that you can't be shot at by the enemy. But pulling that off is really hard. You need 2 successive 4+s to make that work. So that's really hard to pull off, and that's probably one of the reasons why these guys are trained instead of green. If it was 5+, you never would be able to pull off that combo. As it is, the Seek, Strike, and Destroy rule, I played a lot of version 4. I've yet to pull that off successfully. Rolling a 4+ after another 4+ just doesn't work for me. But your mileage may vary. So, kind of the thoughts on this. It's a great tank. At 8 points, it's still a good deal. Especially if you're in a meta that favors expensive German tanks. Like I said, this is a good counter to a Tiger. It's not a solution to a Tiger. I mean, it's not going to automatically destroy it, but it will make that Tiger cautious around you, and it can destroy any other German tank, Panzer 3s, 4s, with impunity, with no problem at all. So you keep these guys hidden or safe, you hopefully succeed in your seek, strike, and destroy roles, or you just treat them like tanks. And that front armor 5 means they have the same armor as a Lee, and just one less than a Sherman. So they're decent tanks. People are going to be terrified of these. So we're going to go ahead and throw together a model so you can see what it looks like built, and then come back with our final thought. Okay, we have built some examples of the M10, and I gotta say they went together rather well. I was a little intimidated or worried at first. There was a lot of parts to building this, particularly in the turret, at least for a wargaming model, a miniature for gaming purposes. There were a lot of pieces, but they all kind of slotted together really well without any big issues. The turret was like 5 or 6 pieces. That went together really well. The back had several components as well, and it went together like a dream. These models are really nice. I like them. Now the M10, it's kind of an exception because I really liked the resin and metal M10 kit, the one that lets you build the M10. The M36 Jackson was based on the same thing. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it, so out of a lot of the kits I didn't think maybe the M10 necessarily needed a plastic redo, but that said, it's really nice. Another feature I kind of liked and wanted to point out here was that they really let you customize these. So for example, you see these little, I forget what they are now, but bits on the side. These are separate pieces, so you can glue them on or leave them off and just give yourself some variety in how your tanks look. Just like I do with all my models, I don't glue the crew in or the machine gun until I am further along in the process. Just keeps them. If I glue them in now, I'm going to break them off when I dry brush or try to get in there and paint. The other thing, the advantage that this has over the resin kit is there's more detail inside the turret, which is nice. If you can see in there, there's actually detail inside the turret, which is cool. So there you go, guys. M10s, if you haven't been able to tell already, I like these units. I like the M10 in mid-war. The AT-12 is terrifying, gives the Americans something similar to what the Germans have, but in a more survivable package. You've got these with front armor 5, means it has a chance to survive against anything except maybe Martyrs, 88s, and Tigers. So it's a cool tank. So there you go, guys. That is our review of the M10 Tank Destroyer Platoon box for Flames of War. If you like this, please go ahead and like and subscribe. You can also check us out at All Miniatures Great and Small on Facebook. And thanks for watching, and keep on wargaming.